All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Adventure with Roger. Thank you so much for being here. This video is going to be like a continuation of another video I did a couple weeks ago. Um, Beginner tips and tricks for Soulworker 2021. And there's a few things we're going to go over in this video. A lot of it is just the basic mechanics of how Soulworker actually works, a lot to do with the FP system. It's not a ton of information, but I bet this video will be 10 or 15 minutes long. So let's get into it right away. Real quick, let me play this for you. Please don't forget to drop a like on this video and remember to join me several times per week for more game-related content. I'd like to give a shout out to everyone helping support and grow this channel, either by subscribing for free or on Patreon for just $1.50 per month. Thank you so much. Alright guys, so I have like a lot of notes I wrote down, and the reason for that is because there's just a lot of like intricate little things to Soulworker that I had to just write down some notes to remember it, so I won't be looking into the camera quite as much this video. My apologies for that. However, a lot of good information here, so let's get into it right away. Okay, so first things first, I want to talk about the FP system. And Soulworker has a built-in system preventing you from grinding 24/7. You have 200 FP given to you daily, and you can gain more or extra from vitamin juice bought from the cash shop, certain variety of things on the cash shop, and gluten vendor, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. If you don't spend all your fatigue, what they call FP, in one day, then supposedly half of your remaining FP will be carried into the next day. So for example, if you have 40 FP at the end of the day, 20 of that FP will then be carried over to the next day, giving you 220 FP. However, there is a cap on the FP gauge on the bottom right of your screen, so using all your FP per day is probably your best bet and the best thing to try and do. I'm not sure exactly what the cap is because it's not numbered on my screen anyways. I don't know about your guys's, but one thing about Soulworker that I have found is it doesn't have a lot of bugs, and mine doesn't have numbers like lighting up the more the FP bar goes up. So if I log in at the beginning of the day and the bar is almost full, there's nothing telling me exactly how much FP is in there except for the number. You know what I mean? There is a number on it. Like if I have 58 FP in there, it will tell me that, but like the gauge isn't really good at telling you like what the full amount is. When it's at 58, it won't say at the very right side, it won't say this is 250 and it's full or whatever. So it's kind of confusing a little bit there. Okay, so the next piece of advice I have for you is probably don't bother with the side quests that much unless you're really into it, which force you to run older dungeons which are simply not worth the fatigue or the FP, versus reward and experience. So I advise focusing on the main quests and grab only the side quests that lead you to the same dungeon as your main quest. So the thing about Soulworker is any town you're in, if you're in the beginner town, Rocco City or whatever, there's going to be a lot of like little quests that pop up, and they're going to have like blue exclamation mark above their heads, which I'm guessing are repeatables. What you're not going to want to do is go ahead and run those whenever you want, because they're taking up a lot of your FP that you can use for your main storyline, which gives you more experience because it's harder content, so to speak. I hope that makes sense to you. So if you are going to do side quests, try and not worry about how fast you're going to, and you're not worried about how fast you're going to progress in the game basically, then go ahead and run the side quests. But if you are wanting to be like kind of a mid-maxing, I want to get as far as I can with my FP versus how much experience I'm going to use, then try to stick more to your main storylines, because they're going to give you more experience for your FP. Okay, next up, at some point you will hit a kind of wall where your main storyline quests require a higher level. If this doesn't happen to you, then don't worry about it. However, if it does happen, here's kind of a fix for you. Grind your way through the episodes 3 and 4, and basically the best instance you can do. So closest to your main storyline, or the instance that's highest experience for you. Do episodes 3 and 4. What you're going to want to do is grind your way through the episode, but don't kill the boss, basically. I don't personally do this because I'm not really worried about how much I play Soulworker, because I play so many other things as well. This is just kind of my go-to hack and slash game. But if you are really worried about getting the absolute most experience for your FP, what you can do is enter your instance, because at the beginning of the instance it's going to take half the FP. So if you go into an instance, I'll just use an example. If you go into an instance and it takes 8 FP to do it, when you first enter it, it's going to take 4 of the FP, and when you kill the boss and end the instance, it's going to take the other 4. So what you can do is you can go in, clear out all the monsters for 4 FP, suicide at the boss, not kill it, and then do that over and over again, and it will maximize the amount of experience that you can get for your FP value, basically, and it will help you catch up level wise with the content that you're trying to do. Like I said, I don't personally do that, but I know it does work because I tested it. Okay guys, let's cover some relative things that you're going to want to know. Certain gear gives you experience buffs, so to speak, so a percentage increase to your experience buffs. I know that when I started playing, they gave me like a box that I can open every 5 levels, and at the very beginning I had jewelry that gave me like 5% for an earring, another 5% for another earring, another 5% for a necklace or whatever it was. Experience boost for the pieces of jewelry that I had on, and there's also armor, I guess, that has that. So look out for certain gear and jewelry that has certain experience buffs applied to them. I wouldn't go out of my way to find them, but there are certain ones out there that do that, so that's beneficial to you. And then there's item buffs as well. There are items given to you that boost experience gains for 1 hour or less. From what I have seen so far, you can gain them from various ways, like daily logins and stuff like that. They're basically just, you know, experience boost. You click on them, you get a buff for like an hour, and then you go kill as many things as possible for as fast as you can, basically. Another thing that you're going to want to take notice of is, due to the daily login rewards, I think even achievements and certain other things that you can accomplish in the game, you're going to get these little things, and you're going to right click them, open them up, and they're going to give you acacia cards. Now acacia cards are basically like active or passive buffs that you can give your character. They're really easy to use. You just find out which ones you have available to you. I think right around even level 20 or 30, I had like a handful of these things just hanging out in my cash shop bag that were just in there from, like I said, daily login rewards and stuff like that. Alright, so Akashic, you basically just hit I think it's the semicolon key next to the letter L on your keyboard, and it will pull this up for you. Okay, so basically you can see here at the bottom, I have like some cards at the bottom here that are equipped, and I'm getting these passive abilities from them. So this one here says destroy everything when equipped, attack damage plus 4%, critical rate 1%. This one gives me when you make a critical attack, there's a 10% probability of attack, 13% for 6 seconds. Cooldown is, so it can only go off every 30 seconds. This one gives me when equipped, attack damage 5%. This one gives me when you defeat a monster, extra Zenny plus 10%. And this one gives me when equipped, attack speed plus 2%. So just some really nice passive buffs that I have equipped right there, and all you have to do is basically take these and like drag them down here and put them on. And then you can see I don't have a lot because I've literally spent not $1 inside this game in the cash shop. So these are the guys I currently have. There's not a lot of them, but I still do have some, and I have enough to fill up my passive, all the passive slots. So definitely keep an eye out for these. They come in, let's see if I have something on me that will show on this character. what I'm talking about. They look like these guys right here. A Akashic record transmitter. And when you use one of these, it asks you how many you want to open. And then it just opens them up and you get a Akashic card, and then you can see if you want to use it or not. So we'll go ahead and open 2 here real quick. Intensive Garara, and let's see what else I get. And a Ropper, whatever he does. We'll take a look real quick. So this guy gives me a passive. When equipped, damage deflected to soul junk 5%. And this one has a passive as well. When you make an airstrike, 60% probability HP recovered. And a 40-second cooldown. So some of them are much better than others. But you can earn them for free, which is nice. And then you just right click on them and hit use. And if you don't already have a copy of it, it puts it in your inventory, so to speak. Another thing I want to go over real quick is these brooches. So when I first started playing, I didn't know what the brooches were even for. So I'll show you that real quick. So you have a costume items that you get just from playing the game. Like I didn't buy any of these costume items I have here, or the one I'm currently wearing. So each costume item has, not all of them I'm pretty sure, but this one in particular has 3 slots for brooches. So here you can see I hit brooch management. So the chest piece, I have an attack brooch, a defense brooch, and a technical brooch. And then there's one for a couple slots for the headpiece, a couple slots for the gloves, a couple slots for the boots. And like if I wanted to drag this one over, just as an example, there it goes. I could unlock one of these attack ones and put this brooch in here where I wanted it. So that's where your brooches go, guys. And you get brooches just the same way you get everything else in Soulworker. You either buy them on the cash shop or you just get them from doing certain things, login, daily rewards, stuff like that. Alright, final thoughts basically. Got some final thoughts here so the video isn't too long. I guess in the long run you just got to ask yourself, why are you playing Soulworker? Is it to be super powerful and rush content, or is it to play sexy waifus and take your time reading all the quests and doing side quests and understanding all the systems and stuff like that? If you want the advice of someone who's played games for years, as you can probably tell, I'm a little bit of a freak about it. Soulworker is a fun hack and slash game. It's really cool. The combat's fun and the boss fights are fun. However, if it's not life-changing to me anyways. So I play it very casually. I wait for my FP bar to fill up, and I play other things in the meantime. One thing you're going to find about this game is the community is not super friendly, and they're not super negative or anything like that. You're not going to find people wanting to go out of their way to group with you. If you get in like normal chat, they're not going to want to answer a bunch of your questions. Every once in a great while, someone will answer a question, but it's not very likely. So that's kind of why I'm making these videos, is to kind of help people figure out some of the systems in Soulworker, because there's not like a community that just goes, hey, let me answer this for you or whatever. Along with that, as far as like interactions with other players, you will find some of the players in town, you know, hanging out, doing emotes, dancing with each other and having a good time or whatnot. But like I said, there's not like a huge, like at least in the first 50 levels from what I've seen, a huge amount of people that are just going out of their way grouping and trying to make guilds and collectively grouping together. It's not really that type of game from what I've seen so far, but I haven't really hit endgame yet. Final thought is that this game is kind of designed behind a paywall, and everything you do to play this game hardcore, if you wanted to do that, is sooner or later going to cost you more and more. I hit a paywall at around level 22 when I ran out of FP and I had to make a decision on what kind of player I wanted to be in Soulworker, whether or not I wanted to be like play it more full-time or I just wanted to be very casual, and I made the decision I just wanted to be a casual Soulworker player. My recommendations are, if you really enjoy the game and you don't want to pay a fortune, is just find another game to play in the meantime. Like log in, get your hack and slash out of you, and then you know, find something else to play, and then log in a day or two later when your FP bar is filled back up. Anyways, like I said, this is kind of a continuation to another video that I made a few weeks ago. Links in the description. That's basically just a really simple, easy videos for like brand new players to give you a couple tips and tricks at the beginning when you first start out. That's going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. I hope this helped some of you out, figure a few things out in Soulworker. Yeah, have fun with it, whether or not you decide you want to play it hardcore or just casually. I hope you have fun with it. I do have a blast playing it now and then. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Roger. I'll see you on the next adventure, guys. Take care of yourself. Thank you for being here.